Today, we're diving into a condition that affects hundreds of millions of people. And yet, so many of them have absolutely no idea they're even at risk. This isn't just a health problem. It's a silent, global crisis that really truly deserves our attention.
Take a look at this number, 800 million. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some stock market figure or a social media trend. It's a staggering number that represents real human lives, every single one of them impacted by a growing and often hidden threat.
That's right. That's how many people are walking around with a progressive illness, one that quietly gets worse over time and often with zero symptoms in the early stages. It's a disease that is silently damaging one of the most vital filtration systems in your entire body.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What we're talking about here is chronic kidney disease, or CKD for short. And this is one of the fastest growing causes of death in the entire world, but it gets just a fraction of the attention compared to other major diseases. So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, CKD is when your kidneys have been damaged and they just can't filter your blood the way they're supposed to. And this isn't some temporary bug, It's a steady, progressive decline that happens over months or, more often, years.
And if you're wondering just how serious this is, get this. CKD is currently the 9th leading cause of death worldwide. And here's the kicker. Unlike a lot of other conditions, its mortality rate is actually rising. This is a problem that is not solving itself.
So how do these absolutely vital organs start to fail? Well, a good way to think about your kidneys is like a pair of tiny, incredibly sophisticated filters. They're constantly working, cleaning your entire blood supply multiple times a day. CKD is what happens when these delicate little filters start getting clogged up and damaged.
The craziest part is that the biggest causes of kidney failure usually don't even start in the kidneys. The number one driver? It's diabetes. That high blood sugar basically acts like microscopic sandpaper in the filtration system, scarring it over time. And number two is high blood pressure, which relentlessly pounds on those tiny blood vessels, wearing them down.
This is so important because it shows us the difference between what we can and can't control. On one side, you've got things you can't change, like your age or your family history. Those are the cards you're dealt. But look at the other side. Blood sugar, blood pressure, weight, diet. These are the powerful levers that we can actually pull to protect our kidneys.
So, if you can't feel it in the early stages, how on earth do doctors track the disease's progression? Well, it all comes down to measuring the kidney's performance, which gives them a really clear picture of how things are going.
The key metric here is something called the eGFR. Now, I know it sounds super complex, but it's really not. Just think of it as a performance score for your kidneys, like a grade out of 100. A simple blood test gives your doctor this crucial number, telling them exactly how well your filters are working.
And that score is what's used to classify CKD into 5 different stages. Now notice here in stages 1 and 2, your function is still normal or just mildly decreased. This is that silent phase we keep talking about. You feel perfectly fine, but the damage has already begun. It's as the eGFR score drops through stages 3 and 4 that complications really start to kick in, all the way into stage 5, which is, unfortunately, complete kidney failure. Okay. Now, while the damage from CKD is irreversible, I want to be really clear that this is not a story without hope. Not at all. In fact, we are right in the middle of a treatment revolution. We now have some incredibly powerful tools to dramatically slow this disease down.
The modern strategy is kind of like a 3-pronged attack. First, you've got foundational drugs called RAAS inhibitors. Think of these as a shield, protecting the kidneys from the damage of high blood pressure. Second, you have these breakthrough drugs, SGLT2 inhibitors, which help the body get rid of excess sugar, a huge win for both the heart and the kidneys. And finally, there are newer agents like NSAIDs that specifically target and reduce the inflammation and scarring that actually destroy the kidney tissue. In this multi-pillar approach, it's not just some new fad. It's now the official standard of care. The latest guidelines from 2024 make it clear. The goal is a personalized combination of therapies. It's not about one magic bullet anymore. It's about fighting this disease on multiple fronts to protect not just the kidneys, but your whole cardiovascular system. So, all of this brings us to the most important part of this whole explainer. What can you do? Because, let's be honest, knowledge without action is pretty powerless. So how can you be proactive about your own kidney health?
Here it is, a simple, proactive game plan. First, and this is non-negotiable, if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, you have to get screened regularly for kidney damage. From there, it's all about aggressively controlling those conditions, maintaining a healthy weight with diet and exercise, cutting way back on salt, and just being mindful of common over-the-counter painkillers, which can be pretty tough on your kidneys.
You know, at the end of the day, your kidneys work tirelessly for you, 24/7, without ever asking for a day off. They are the very definition of silent workers. And so the question this leaves us with is a really simple one. Are we listening to what they need to keep us healthy?